We're back. It's grand final week. Championship series only a couple of sleeps away. The two best teams in the league to match up in different countries. Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved. I'm hyped. I'm excited. You can do the same by getting involved down below. Hashtag NBL Overtime. Homicide in the house. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm excited.
Plenty to discuss. Let's get into it.
Liam Santamaria, hello to you.
Hey, man, let's go.
You good?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Ready.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to start with you, Homicide, because this time last week we were kind of in a holding pattern, but now we can break it down specifically. You told us, Vasiljevic, he has to stand up. This week I'm going to say to you, who from New Zealand has to do something? You want Vasiljevic from Sydney to stand up. Who's your key for the Breakers?
Well, I think for me, they got to do it by committee. It's not just one specific person. That's just how they've been doing it. They, like offensively, they're deep. They don't just rely on one person. I think with Sydney, why Dejan Vasiljevic is so important because he is their sharpshooter. If he's not hitting from outside, they're in trouble. For me personally, they really are. He's that important to their perimeter shooting. You know, with this team, he's averaging 8 points a game versus the Breakers. That's troubling times. And to boot, he hasn't had a great season like I mentioned last year, so he has to show up huge. Now, I know we're talking about New Zealand. I went there. But now, like I said, New Zealand, I think they just have to do it by committee.
And they've done it by committee, right? We speak about
That's why they've had this success. They haven't relied on one or two people.
And a little bit of that has been really proven later in the year. If you look at that, okay, Brown's missed games and had that injury.
Big games.
A huge game. Didn't play when they last beat
Sydney.
They've had guys out. Will McDowell-White missed a couple. COVID obviously stunted them over the New Year break. But that's the thing. They've been able to have guys stand up. And there's a huge reason as to why they're in a grand final series because of their ability to be deep. And Sydney can argue the same.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And everyone, I think, they've got a lot of guys who can contribute at both ends of the floor. But Barry Brown Jr. is coming into this series in incredible form. He had the 30-piece in the Game 3 against Tasmania that got them into this place. He's all NBL first team. He is the guy, really, for New Zealand who I think puts them over the level as a team. Like, I think they're going to win the series, and he's a big, big reason why. Because we look back at last year, Tasmania, similar to New Zealand, elite defensively, but I'm not sure they had the firepower at the offensive end. A guy, late shot clock, give it to him and just say, hey, listen, you're one of the best scorers in the league. Go get us a bucket. Barry Brown Jr. can provide that for this New Zealand team.
Agreed. And you know what the best thing about this is? Legitimately? Give me the last time. We can talk about depth, and there's no doubt at different times in a 5-game series, players have to stand up and handle the moment when called. But you tell me the last time in any sport around the world that a team won the championship or the title or the premiership without having a legit superstar. It doesn't happen. Because when we get to fourth quarters in big games, you have to have a superstar who stands up and takes control. Brown did it and has done it. Xavier Cooks did it in particular last year. So when whips are cracking and these guys are deep, you've got to be able to stand up and deliver when called. But fourth quarters of games, Cooks, Brown, Brantley, whoever has the most superstars and whoever superstar stands up gets the job done and lifts the trophy.
Let's not forget Derek Warren Jr.
Oh, well, he's a superstar.
Look, I'm leaning with you. I think New Zealand is going to win this series.
Wow.
I think New Zealand is going to win this series. I just think the longer this goes, it's beneficial towards New Zealand. I just think the depth offensively that they have and defensively, it's going to get it done.
This is fascinating. I thought I was going to be like the only one out there picking New Zealand. But then I spoke to Damon Lowry yesterday for the huddle. He picked New Zealand. I watched Shane Heal, Derek Rucker on the basketball show. They both picked New Zealand, and you think that they're going to win as well?
100%.
You know,
see, Luke?
I think Sydney are going to win, but let me tell you this. Can I steal a line from you? Is that all right? Do you mind if I borrow one?
No worries.
Where's my camera at? Sydney Kings fans, you need to get to Kudos Bank Arena and pack this joint out. New Zealand has no tickets left, so the Breaker faithful are jumping on the bandwagon, as well they should. We don't want to see only 7,500 roll in like they did against the Cairns Taipans. A huge reason as to why Sydney have gained the momentum in a somewhat fickle sports market is because of their success and the entertaining way they present the game and the way they play it. Get there. pack the joint out Friday night because if while I don't think home court advantage is what it used to be, diminished a little bit due to the pandemic, if New Zealand roll in, there's only 6,000 in the joint in Sydney, they are going to gain even more confidence from it. So Sydney Kings fans, don't stuff around because the Breakers fans, I said this last year, don't scalp tickets, but there are opportunities in the black market. That's half a joke. I think it's huge.
I think they've been talking too much. I think like their bite isn't as loud as their bark. I believe that. I mean, the game 3 when they beat Cairns, that wasn't impressive. For a team that's down 2 superstars and you're home, you're supposed to get them out of here. Let's not even make this a game. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't been that impressive to me. To where I can be like, yo, you know what? Listen, all I got to do is win 3 at home, and that's it. I don't believe that going into this series matchup. I think New Zealand, that team's no joke, man. That team is no joke. And forget the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned this a couple episodes ago. Like, some of these guys, they don't know what happened last 2 years.
Right.
So these guys are coming in like, yo, we supposed to be here, and we coming to beat y'all. So it's not like, we're just happy to be here. No, we coming to bust y'all ass. That's the vibe that they on, and they don't really do too much talking. Sydney, they doing too much talking over there, man. And you're not playing at the level like how you're talking. Just because you're winning, you continue to talk at that level, and you're not playing the way you sounding. Oh, yeah, everybody hates us, love us, or hate us. Come on, man. Just play ball, man.
It's interesting.
Just play ball. Too much. This thing is turning into like a soap opera. You know what I mean? Real dudes don't talk like that. They just let the game do the talking. Shut up and play. Stop talking trash.
I spoke with Chase Buford last week, and he said something really interesting about that. And he said, you know what, there was a point in the season about midway through the year, I felt like we were intimidating people and we were rolling with confidence and we were marching in and winning games and roaring along at the top of the table. And he said, I feel like over the past month or so, we maybe lost that a little bit. That intimidation factor, you don't think that that's there coming into this series?
Yo, I'm just telling you right now that that's never going to happen. I mean, think about this. When they first went down to New Zealand, Chase Buford was like, they're playing against the All Blacks or something. They're playing so physical. What do you think's going to happen now? As soon as we got real physical with you, what y'all start doing? Complaining about how physical it was despite you guys winning, right? What you think New Zealand going to do to y'all? Come on, man. Talking too much. Just play the game, dude.
I'm really interested to see how this series gets refereed as well because of the Chase Buford situation. He was vocal in that situation a while back now. He was quite vocal after the Cairns game 2, and it got tinkered with, I think, the way they approached the game, the referees in game 3. I think the best team most certainly won, so I'm not suggesting that at all. But because Chase Buford plays the referees via the media really well. He may not like it, but he does do it well.
He does. But you know where I think it's going to be most interesting about where it's refereed is that Cooks-Brantley matchup at power forward. I think it's the marquee matchup heading into this series. You always talk about finals championship series. It's all about the matchups. You got the MVP against the guy I think should have been Defensive Player of the Year in Jarrell Brantley. Last time they played, Corey,
Brantley gave listen.
Go for it.
I watched this game and I said to myself, in front of all of those scouts, he played himself back into the NBA. That's what I said. And I know he's looking at this matchup like, yo, listen, Cooks, you nice. I'm nice too. And I know if I can come in here and outplay you and win, there's no way if there's talks with you going to the NBA, I'm going to the NBA. And that's exactly how he's going to take this matchup. Silent assassin, don't do too much talking, if any. Two-way player, let his game do the talking. I can't wait to see that match.
And he sat there at the Crown Casino
Took it all in.
Palladium, and he got no love, Jarrell Brantley. So he had a great year. He got no love. And there's Cooks, all NBL first team. There's Cooks, MVP. There's everybody in the whole place standing up and making a toast to Xavier Cooks. Well deserved. I think he was the MVP. 100%. Make no mistake.
100%.
But there'd be a chip. There's no doubt a chip on that shoulder for Jarrell Brantley saying, that's all good and well, but but I'm coming into this series to bust your ass.
It'll be interesting because that particular game, as you mentioned, the NBA Scots were there.
Let's go, baby. It's that time of the year. Let's go.
Certain that Xavier Cooks handled the situation as well. He's spoken about the NBA scouts and all the
great.
meetings and all the rest of it, and he probably didn't. In fact, you could argue it's probably his worst game of the year, where he played a full game, right? So it will be interesting coming in. I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for it. You know what?
Talk to me.
The preseason
Yeah.
Huddle, which is an award-winning podcast.
Should be.
Absolutely. You had a great chat with Will McDowell-White.
Yes.
And he said, I want to average this, this, and this. And I said, if he averages that, he'll be the MVP of the league. Now, he didn't quite get to those numbers, but I think he outplayed the expectations of many people based on the fact that they were uncertain where he kind of sits. He's the premier, probably the premier Australian point guard in the country
Second
right
best
now.
point guard in the league.
There
100%.
you go. There you
and
go.
the premier point guard, Ozzy, local point guard in the league.
And he's
100%.
about to get paid in a massive way over the course of this offseason.
Will he go back here to New Zealand?
Wow. We'll see.
Firstly, I want to ask, I want you to break down how they defend him because there are different ways in which they've done it.
Well, I've been saying for a little while, cannot wait to see Will McDowell-White in the postseason because he's just coming into the prime of his career and he has a chance here to make a massive name for himself in the playoffs. Now, the way Sydney guard him, he gave them all kinds of buckets in that last time they played. No Barry Brown Jr. And watch the way the Kings guard that action. A lot of deep drop coverage.
He gonna kill him.
It was a floater masterclass, 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. And it was a beautiful thing. Now, watch the way Tassie guarded this same type of ball screen action in the semi-final series. They said, no, hard show. Get the ball out of his hands. Let's make other guys make plays and make decisions. If Sydney bring the same kind of approach, which is how they'll do some switching, but when Hunter and Suarez are in those actions, they're in the deep drop, I can't wait to watch Will McDowell-White make those reads and make those plays.
I'm going to tell you this right now. The last time Sydney did the deep drops
Oh, there we go.
in the championships, grand final, whatever you want to call it, Bryce Cotton went to town and they lost because of the deep drop. I'm telling you right now, as you would know, if they come out and play that deep drop throughout this series, when Will McDowell-White is on the court, they're going to lose. First matchup nightmares on New Zealand's side.
I agree. Cotton is
I'm telling you right now.
Will McDowell-White.
Sydney's in trouble, man. Sydney's in trouble, man.
Hold on.
I'm telling you,
Can
man.
we play a game first?
I'm telling you.
Can we at least get out on the court now?
I'm telling you, man.
We buried the king.
Dejan Vasiljevic averages 8 points. It ain't like he did it once. 12, 6, and 8. Those were his numbers in those 3 games.
The defending champ.
Non-existent.
Number 1 seed.
You think all of a sudden the light's gonna come on all of a sudden? If you are a legitimate shooter and a premier player for the defending champs, 12, 6, and 8. Lights ain't coming on. They got your number. X that out.
How would you guard Will McDowell-White?
Justin Simon, my man, I love him. You ain't got to guard him. Close that up. Who's the premier shooters on that team? 2 point guards. Sean Bruce, Derek Walton Jr. I'll take those odds from the perimeter. They could shoot, but I don't have to chase out and run at everybody else. Angus Glover hit, that's cool. But game on the line, I ain't worrying about Angus Glover. That's not his role. We can get these 2 covered. Lee Alpha, Will McDowell-White, I'll take my chances with them guarding those guys. He ain't going to show up. Xavier Cook's got his hands full in a 5-game series. Everybody else, we good. I'm telling you, New Zealand for the win. I'm telling you.
How would you guard McDowell-White?
I'm telling you.
Well, you want Xavier Cooks in those actions so he can switch and he can slide his feet and stay in front. And I would just bring Hunter, Suarez up a little. The problem with that is it brings Derek Pardon in as a lob threat over the top. He is the best, along with Derek Walton Jr., at making plays off those actions, and it's a huge problem to solve.
You mentioned Leafa.
Dog.
There will be a game in this series.
Ready for it.
He hits more than 6 threes in a game.
Ready for it.
He will go, but one of these games.
You think that's not going to happen with Vasiljevic?
No, it ain't. It ain't happened all season.
Hang on.
Yo, how many times he hit 6 threes this season?
I don't
He's going
know.
to hit some big shots.
I think he'll hit.
How many times he hit 6 or more threes this season?
He had a 40
Once.
piece. Yeah.
Once. How many games they played? 30.
Yeah, 30.
We'll take those
You
odds.
don't remember game 2?
What game? What did he do?
Grand final?
Last
Big
year.
shot? Tassie? He
Yo,
loves these
listen.
moments.
I'm just telling you right now what I feel based off of the 3 games he played versus this team.
Mm-hmm.
I have no reason to believe all of a sudden he gonna break out
They
over
got tough
5 game
defenders.
series.
Liafa, Rupert, Abercrombie.
We talk about the next star.
I have no doubt.
Top 10.
Yeah.
He going top 10.
Hey.
No, maybe.
Okay.
Hey.
He going top 10.
Yeah.
Any next star that is killed in this league, they have never gone less than, 6?
You know who we have to thank? You know who we have to thank for this?
Liam.
The next star GM, baby.
No doubt.
I'm Liam Santamaria, and I approve that message.
Amen.
Now,
you know
quickly.
what I mean? Like, we didn't even say Rupert all this whole conversation.
Hey.
7'2", 7'3" wingspan?
Yeah.
Who getting a shot up over that on this perimeter?
No.
With him on him.
Probably not
They
me.
can't even bring the ball up. You don't even want to bring the ball up if he in front of you.
He's a problem.
Dogs, come on, man.
Justin Simon's a
These
similar
dudes
problem.
are not scared.
Do not get me wrong. I think this is going to go the distance, and I'm a huge New Zealand fan. I
he's gone 4.
just think all of a sudden, people are just underrating Sydney as the defending champions and number 1 seed, and all of a sudden, everybody seemed to be like, yeah, you know what, Breakers just going to roll on in and just belt them.
No one said
No,
that.
no one said roll on in.
They said it's going the distance.
Well, you got them 4 games.
Yeah, I think they'll close
D-Ruck
it out.
and Hammer, 2 of the greats of the NBL, like New Zealand.
got 5. I gotta go
all of a
with
sudden,
5.
we're underrating the Sydney Kings a little bit, do you think?
No.
Okay.
With all due respect, I think that they are the best team in the league. I just think this Breakers team is a great matchup for them.
100%.
And I think they're coming in with an emotional state of mind that I think makes them just that little bit more hungry than this Kings team. I don't know.
It's kind of
Kings
like...
are the best team in the league, but they don't win the championship.
Correct.
I think it's kind of like...
Has that happened before?
Yes.
Yes, it did. When you should have won a championship.
Correct.
That's why he asked you. He baited you for that.
it's
Not that
straight
I
away.
had really any
kinda
impact.
like-
Here's the hoop, dive right in.
The Hollywood team. And then you got like the team that's like the non-Hollywood team, right? So one team is like red carpet, glitz and glamour, paparazzi and all of that. And you got the other team just coming to handle business. That's how I see this thing going the whole series. That's how I see it going.
I think you make a great call, though, about
Thank
those
you.
Sydney crowds because I think home court advantage at Spark
Yeah.
is going to be a very real thing.
Yeah.
Because Breaker Nation is going crazy over there.
Yep.
And you're right. If the Breakers walk in the Kudos Bank Arena and they look up during the warm-ups and it's a
This
third,
ain't packed.
they're going to say, hey, listen.
Oh, this our arena.
Hashtag NBL Overtime to
The
get
fans
involved.
don't even believe. That's why they.
All right. Now you might have gone too far.
I'm just saying they got to pack the joint out.
Plenty
Yeah.
more next. I agree.
Back
with
to
that.
Q.
You've set up a great rivalry. You've set up this franchise to go forward. There would have been a lot of people walking away tonight saying, oh, damn, there's some sons of bitches in that team. So well done.
I wasn't enjoying it as much. Over the course of the year, there's reared its head a couple of times where I thought, is this worth it? And if you can't enjoy the wins and the frustrations supersede the joy, then it's time to go.
That's how it started for Southeast Melbourne Phoenix and Simon Mitchell. That wonderful throwdown win to kick-start NBL 19, and then that's how it ended last week, where he gave really great advice. I don't think just traditionally in a professional sporting environment, but in anything. If the emotion of the losses are superseding the emotion of the wins, it's time to look at something else. He's a wonderful coach. It does open up how it does work out into an off-season. He's been the only coach of Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. He's part of a starter. Like, you don't see that very often in professional sports. We've seen it a little bit recently in the NBL with both Southeast Melbourne Phoenix and then the JJs. What do you make? Who would you chase? Trevor Gleeson, your former coach, reportedly knocked back a 3-year deal to coach him. Is that where you would have started, Homicide?
100%. I'd have started with Gleason.
Would you up the cash? Up the years?
Yeah, my man's in NBA, man. I mean, for me, I think he's the greatest coach to ever coach in NBA, NBL. 8 years, 5 championships.
Yeah.
Would there be any coach going into an organization like Perth, rich in tradition and history and culture and winning, and that's the result after 8 years? Look, up the cash, man. He's in the NBA. Up the cash. Treat him like you didn't know him and you wanted him, and he's in the NBA. Then he'll be here. Leverage, right?
Shout out to Simon Mitchell.
Absolutely.
The job that he did building that club, like you say, from the ground up. 4 years, yes, they didn't quite achieve what they wanted to. They were a game away from a grand final, probably a championship in year 2. They were in the mix this year. Injuries were an issue. I think he did a great job of building a competitive club there when they started with nothing. And so well done to him on that job. You would kick the tyres on Brian Goorjian, you'd kick the tyres on Trevor Gleeson, and then you'd go from there.
Right.
You start with those two and then go from there. But it's going to be fascinating to see because it's a massive decision. You know, like they're at a point now as a franchise, they got to get this right.
You got to get
because
this
you've got
right.
Mitch Creek, you've got your foundation piece. He's in the prime of his career. He's an MVP candidate. This is your window.
Alan Williams back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to Coach Mitchell, man. I mean, think about it. Would he be in this situation if those injuries don't happen? They go on that 6-game skid. Where would they finish up on the ladder?
Top
You know
two.
what I mean? Like it's
Probably top 2.
It's just
The roster they put together, again, and they've put together outstanding roster since day one, really, and the cornerstone being Mitch Creek was a wonderful signing. It will be interesting because you got to get your coach in to then be able to work out how you fit around the players you've already got. As you mentioned, Big Sauce and Mitch Creek are there in your cornerstones, and away you go. Just quickly, I want to ask you about Todd Blanchfield. Right? Obviously, doghouse is the wrong word, but fell way out of favour in rotation at the Perth Wildcats. Still got a couple of years left on contract.
Yeah.
Comes out for the Boomers. Dean Vickerman goes, hey, let's get Blanchfield the ball. He just goes bang, 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 bang. Third quarter the other day was insane. What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do if you're Todd Blanchfield personally, Liam? I'll ask you first.
Well, he's on a good wicket. He's signed a big deal, a 3-year deal, so he's got 2 more years left of that. And but it's an interesting situation. I mean, he's at a point now. He needs to play. He can put points on the board. He put 16 on the board in 6 minutes in that third quarter to go from 15-point tally to 31 in the blink of an eye. Shows what he can do. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a conversation at some point this offseason to say, hey, listen, am I in the picture here for the rotation? Because if not, let's talk about maybe what I might look like somewhere else.
well, that would be a great conversation to have because, you know, no disrespect, that is Kazakhstan, right? Mm-hmm. So why are we getting hyped for that? Great shooting display, right? But this is the NBL.
True.
And he was a no-show. So if I'm him, I would rather go into the situation in the offseason, where can I get moved to?
Well,
There is zero
His call.
confidence.
His call right now is
Zero.
Yeah.
His call right now is
Yeah.
a playing time at this time of my career and getting out there and showing what I can do.
Yo,
or is it cash?
This is not year 4, 5, or 6.
No, it's not.
This is a vet.
Who's on a nice contract already in the next 2 years.
Well, I would try to move him because he ain't gonna play. What's gonna happen next year? This league ain't getting no easier. The coach had zero confidence in you. He gave you all the opportunity, and you didn't show up. So this is not one of those things where, if that's an import, what y'all doing?
Moving on.
All right then.
But it is a different conversation, imports Australians, but I understand your point. Hashtag NBL Overtime.
You wanna win?
Quick break. Well, there you go. You want to
Do
win?
you want to win? All right.
Hope relocates. It's good. Hope to the logo. Oh yeah. That's NBA range. To the basket. That's 32. Just Hogue underneath. Just emphasises how remarkable this season has been. How remarkable was that? Hogue plays it up. It's 18 now. Once again in the championship series, but that man stands in their way. Hogue from outside. Yes.
DJ Hogue, a 2K23 Spotlight Player of the Month for February. DJ Hogue, you ready? Yes or no? Would you rather DJ Hogue over Rajan Tucker at Melbourne United?
Nah, Tuck, man.
Do you-
Tuck gotta come back.
So that's a
big.
no. Do you expect McDowell White for one day to play for the Brisbane Bullets?
No.
Should Nick Kay be the highest paid Aussie if he plays in NBL 24?
Who else is Skippy? Go ahead.
Yes or no?
I don't know. I'm trying
Come
to
on,
think.
Nick Kay, baby.
Xavier Cooks. Chris Golding.
Nah,
No, okay.
Xavier Cooks,
is,
B.
is the NBL the reason Bronny James hasn't committed to a college yet?
You tell me, Cam.
No, yeah, I'm going to say yes. Would Jamal Brantley be the grand final MVP?
Yep.
Do you bring back Gary Brown Jr. if you're the Phoenix?
Yes.
Done. See? Perfectly timed. See ya.